What is a scorecard and how does it get rolled out to the different departments in a company that's running on EOS? So here is a fictional scorecard of a B2B service company. And first, what is a scorecard? So a scorecard is 5 to 15 numbers that you and your team review weekly to get a pulse on your business. And so it's made up of who is the owner of the scorecard. Here I just have the function. Typically, you put the name of the person who is accountable for the measurable being on track on a weekly basis. What is the measurable? First one being new qualified leads. What's the goal on a weekly basis? And then a 13-week history so you can see the trends with each measurable. Okay, so this is a 10 number scorecard for a fictional leadership team, and it's got a mix of sales, integrator, finance, ops, and people measurables that are meant to be looked at every week during your level 10 meeting. So you have a sense for how the business is doing and whether it's on track for its financial plan. Okay. And if any number is off track, like new clients signed greater than or equal to is the goal. If it's below 2, then it's an issue. It should go in red, off track, and then move down into your IDS so you can solve it and figure out why you're off track. The ops department has 2 measurables right here: tickets closed percent and churn. Okay. And so I'm going to show you how this can be used from a leadership team standpoint and then what a fictional ops scorecard will look like. So if I go down, I'll see from the ops standpoint, I have gross margin, AR, tickets closed, and client churned. So I have these 2 that are on the only ones on the leadership team, plus gross margin, which is technically a finance measurable, but they keep it here on the ops department. And then I have additional ops measurables that are drilled down and more relevant to the ops team to know whether the ops department is on track. Okay, so numbers on the ops department don't necessarily need to go directly up, but that is an easy way to understand how this can work, where you say, what are the 2 or 3 most important ops measurables on a weekly basis? Those are the ones we're going to report on the leadership team. And if in the leadership team, we need to dig into an ops issue and we think that it needs to be solved at the leadership team level, we can always pull up the ops scorecard. Now, better would be, can the ops department solve this issue at the leadership meeting? If so, then we're going to push that issue down to the ops department and let them solve it and report back what the solve was. But that's not always the case. Okay. One other important concept about the scorecard is if I go back to the leadership team scorecard, my sales measurables are here: new leads, then sales meetings held, then proposals sent, then new clients signed, then weekly revenue. And that's a good example of my sales funnel and the difference between leading and lagging indicators. So a leading indicator is something that projects us forward into the process that we're trying to measure and tells us what's going to happen, better than a lagging indicator, which is a result of things that have happened. So the leading indicator, or the most leading indicator here, is new qualified leads. That's way out. That's our top of funnel of people that we're trying to talk to and bring down into our funnel to become customers. And it works down where we get to weekly revenue, money collected and reported as revenue, which is a lagging indicator. So good scorecard, you want to have a mix of leading and lagging indicators. That can be illustrated on the bottom here, which is an EOS tool called the Getting What You Want tool, where new clients signed would be the ultimate outcome that we want. And we say, what are the activities that we need to take in order to get to that point? And from our scorecard, we have 4 activities here: new leads, sales meetings held, proposals sent, and new clients signed. And in that data, we can learn a lot about what's going well and what's not going well in our sales process. So that tool can be used whenever there's an outcome that we want to measure, and projecting forward into what are the activities that most drive that outcome. So that's a great tool to use when building your scorecard, the get what you want tool.